Okay, I hope you're excited for this tutorial because in this tutorial we're actually going to write out our first function together. So in the last tutorial I explained what a function was. Essentially a function is a piece of code that is waiting to be called to fulfill its purpose. So there's different types of functions. You could create a very basic function that just adds two numbers together, and when a user presses a button it calls the function and adds two numbers together. A more advanced function would be a user maybe on a streaming service, maybe like YouTube, pressing a button and it does a search for videos, whatever the user was looking for. Maybe the user types in, weather in Paris, and then there's all these videos about the current weather in Paris. Okay, so functions are basically code that is it's code that's waiting there to be called or run by a user. So that is what a function is. It's hard to, I suppose, describe without actually writing one. So we're going to write one in a moment. And then the next thing is why are functions useful? It's because we are able to embrace this concept called dry, which basically means do not repeat yourself, or don't repeat yourself. It's this idea that if you keep writing out the same piece of code over and over, maybe you actually need to put it inside of a function, so that way you can just call or invoke the function every time you want to run that piece of code. Okay, so what I'm going to do in this tutorial is we're going to write out our first function together. So there are many different ways to write a function in terms of the syntax, but we're just going to start at the most basic level. So what you do is to create a function, let me just do a comment here, create a function or write a function. It's more like write, or technically the more accurate word is you're defining a function. We'll just say write a function for now, but really we're defining a function. So how you create, write, or define a function, whatever terminology you want to use, is you actually write out the keyword. We're about to learn another keyword now in JavaScript, and that is function. So you write out the keyword function, and then what you need to do is you need to give this function a name. So how you can do that is just type it out. We'll use camel case. So our first function, when we call it, is just going to log out hello you to the console. So I'm going to call our function say hello, and what you need to do is you need to put parentheses after this. Okay, so we have our parentheses that indicates that is a function, and then we have our curly braces. We have our opening and closing curly brace. The next thing we do is we then write out whatever code it is we want to do inside of the function. So I'm just going to write out console.log, and then we're just going to have hello you, okay? And then semicolon to end the statement there. I'm not going to put a semicolon after the function, okay? So basically what we've done is we've used the keyword function, a keyword in JavaScript. Then we have our name. I've called the function say hello. Note the use of camel case. The H is an uppercase. Then we have our parentheses. Then we have our opening curly brace and our closing curly brace. And in between the curly braces is all the code that's going to run when we call or invoke the function, in this case, hello you. So if I save and refresh, and if I come up to the browser and refresh, nothing is happening, okay? We don't see hello you logged out to the console. And that is because what we've done is we've defined the function, okay? We've defined our function, but we haven't actually called or invoked the function, okay? So basically, this function has been defined. It's waiting to be called before it logs out hello you to the console. So how you call or invoke a function, in this case, all you need to do is just write out the function name, say hello, and then parentheses. And you can do a semicolon to end the statement. So up here, we are defining our function, but it hasn't ran yet. It hasn't done anything because we haven't actually called it. Where down here, we call or invoke the function say hello. So what's going to happen now is this piece of code here, JavaScript is going to say, okay, I need to call the function say hello. It looks up and says, there's the function. What do? We execute the code in between the curly braces. So we simply log out hello you to the console. If I now come back to Google Chrome, save and refresh, we get hello you. So another way of thinking of this is, imagine you're in trouble and you need to get help from Superman, okay? you'll have to call Superman to get help. You'll say, hey, Superman, I'm in trouble, help, or whatever the case may be. I mean, technically, he actually has superpowers, so he could probably hear you're in trouble from a mile away, or maybe even more. But the key point here is that while Superman has the powers to come and save you if you are in trouble, you first of all have to call out for help. So it's the same idea with a function. You create or invoke the function, and then you can call the function here. And by the way, you can call or invoke a function many times. So if I just paste out say hello many times, save and refresh, each time JavaScript gets to any of these lines of code, it's going to say, okay, I need to call or invoke the say hello function. So what we've done is we've created a function once, but we've actually called upon it multiple times. So congratulations, you've just written your first function with me in this course. I'll see you in the next tutorial where we will continue to build on the basic building blocks of functions. So I'll see you in the next tutorial.